Hi, my name is Mary Flynn, and I'm a PhD researcher at the Miriam Hospital. And my area of interest is how food can be used to improve your health. And as part of my job, I make up recipes that involve ingredients that will make you healthier and decrease your risk for future chronic diseases. Today I'm going to show you how to make grilled pizza, which is a really easy summer meal, and I'm going to be using ingredients that the literature shows will make you healthier. Now, I'm making this outside on a gas grill. And one of the first things you need to do is make sure you have a gas grill that can get up around 400–450 degrees, which is where this grill is right now. I'm going to be using the pre-cooked pizza shells. You can do this with dough. It's a little more work and a little trickier, but using the pre-cooked shells is really a fast way to do this. This one is made with refined flour. I'll be making one after that's made with whole wheat flour. What you do is you first put a tablespoon of olive oil on one side of the pizza shell. Olive oil is a food that will improve your health. There are many studies showing how it will. It does things like it makes your insulin work better, so it decreases diabetes. It also decreases your risk of high blood pressure, breast cancer, colon cancer, prostate cancer, heart disease. So you want to use as much olive oil as you can in your diet. I put a tablespoon on this side, and I'm using a brush to make sure I get it all over one side of the pizza shell. Now these, because they're pre-cooked, they're really easy to just pick up and put right on the grill. Now as soon as you put it on the grill, what you want to do is take another tablespoon of olive oil and put that on the side that's facing up. So again, we'll just spread it all over the top of the pizza shell while the bottom part is cooking. Now these will cook very quickly because these are already cooked. If you were using fresh dough, it takes a little bit longer. You wait for it to puff up. But for these, you just have to cook these for 2 minutes. I'm going to put a timer on here for 2 minutes. When you're making a grilled pizza, there's a couple of things you need to remember. You should have everything ready in advance because the pizza will cook very quickly, so you can't be running back and forth into the kitchen. You also try to cut things as small as possible. I cut vegetables into very small chopped up pieces. I use shredded cheese. You want to use things that are basically at room temperature, or you can microwave them to bring them to a warmer temperature to make sure that you have them at the right temperature for the grill because you'll be moving so quickly. I'm using extra virgin olive oil. It's the olive oil that you use to that has been shown to improve health. This is one that's a Greek olive oil, but you can use any extra virgin olive oil as long as it says extra virgin. It has the health benefits. If you use it to cook vegetables, you will allow yourself to absorb what makes the vegetables healthy for us, which are the carotenoids. The darker the vegetables, the more carotenoids that are found in them. And if you use olive oil, you will absorb the carotenoids into your body. Without the olive oil, you will not absorb them. I tend to use more frozen vegetables than fresh vegetables because they are kept on the plant longer, so I think they're better for us. They have more nutrients. They also are they're also ready to use. You can keep more in your house, and they tend to be reasonably priced. Now, this is coming into 40 seconds left, but I can smell it already, which means that it's cooking enough, and you don't want to burn it. They will burn very quickly. So when I flip this over, see it's nice and cooked on this side. Now what I'll do is I'll add 1/4 cup of tomato sauce. 1/4 cup is about all you want to use. If you use much more, it's not going to cook all the way through. One of the big mistakes you can make with grilled pizza is loading up too much on the dough. If you have too much on it, it does not cook through, and it just tends to make somewhat of a soggy mess. And then I'm putting on it some shredded mozzarella cheese. You want to try to distribute it as best as you can over the top of the dough, so you have cheese in every direction. 2 minutes should be fine on this, but you do want to pay attention because they will burn quickly. We'll see if the 2 minutes will stay there. Tomatoes are also another food that have a lot of health benefits in them. They have in particular a carotenoid that's called lycopene. Lycopene has been related to decreasing prostate cancer in particular, and probably also decreasing breast cancer. But prostate cancer is the main way we think of it. And interestingly, the benefits are not found in a fresh tomato. The tomato has to be processed. It either has to be made into a canned tomato or made into tomato sauce in order for you to have the benefits. But when you have it that way, it's a great way to put it on your pizza. Cheese is something that It will not necessarily improve your health, but it does have some calcium in it, which we can use for bone health. But it doesn't have products in it that are going to increase your risk for chronic diseases. So it's a food that I like to include. It's a nice way to get a healthy source of protein in your body. And there's been no literature relating cheese to causing any sort of chronic disease. That's just 1 minute into the pizza. There are a variety of pizza shells on the market. Some of them taste better than others. I would encourage you to experiment, try some. Don't be discouraged if you don't like the first one. But some of them are a little bit drier. You can also use, I've also used tortilla, the flour tortilla shells on a pizza. And I've made one with salsa and chili peppers and put a little bit of sour cream. You can't put much, otherwise it makes it soggy. But that's a very nice pizza. See if this is melting. Yep, this cheese is melting. You can see with the shells that the smoke is coming through them. It will actually come right through them. Because the cheese is melted, this is basically done. So you can just put it right onto a wire rack and your pizza is finished. Now we're going to make a pizza that is a little different because there's no tomato sauce involved, but it is a vegetable-based pizza. And I love vegetables. I try to get people to eat as much vegetables as they can. This pizza is also made with a whole wheat dough. And so I have the olive oil on one side of the dough, and I'm putting it down on the grill. And I'll put my timer on now. And then on the other side of this, I'm going to put, the side that's up, I'll put another tablespoon of olive oil. The olive oil will give health benefits, but from a food standpoint, it also makes food taste a lot better, and it will make the dough crispy. So the dough will have a better taste to it. Sometimes people will tell me that they think whole wheat dough is dry, and it is certainly drier than in refined dough, but putting the olive oil on it really gives it a nice, really nice flavor to it. Okay, so this one is going to be done with vegetables. The vegetables I had cooked up in olive oil. My rule of thumb is a tablespoon of olive oil per cup of vegetables. And a cup of vegetables is 2 servings of vegetables. I try to use vegetables that are the ones that are healthier for us. Today I'm going to be using spinach, and I use frozen spinach. I like frozen vegetables better because they're kept on the plant longer, so they are darker in color. They're also ready to use. This spinach I cooked up with a cup of red onions, the cup very small. The red onion is cut very small so that it can absorb the oil. Also, this is frozen chopped spinach. So when I put this on the other side of the dough, it will make a nice thin layer. This comes out to be 4 servings of vegetables, and this size dough will make 2 servings. So it's 2 servings of vegetables per person who's eating the pizza. I'm going to be putting a shredded cheddar cheese on this. I think it gives a little different flavor than using a mozzarella cheese. I cook these vegetables up in advance. You can actually cook them up the day before, but you want to have them at least room temperature, if not a little warmer. The reason why you want to warm them up is the cooking time is so short that if you don't warm them up, see this one grilled up, nice lines on that one, that grilled up very nicely. Now I'll put this mixture right on top here, and I'm using a spatula to make sure I get it well over the dough. Okay, so I'm just going to spread that nice thin layer. And then the shredded cheese, again, you want to make sure that you get the cheese as best as you can all over the top, so you can get a nice dose of cheese for everyone. Then we'll put the timer on again for 2 minutes. As I said, you can cook up the vegetables in advance. Sometimes when I have extra time, I'll cook up a bunch of vegetables in olive oil. The longer you cook the vegetables, the sweeter they become, which is good from a taste standpoint. But the longer you cook them also, the more of the nutrients that are in them that you get into the oil, so you make sure you get them into your body. Check it to make sure it's not burning. The grills will vary on how hot they are. You can actually put the temperature back a little bit if you want, but this is doing okay. If the cheese is not completely melted when you're finished, don't worry about it, because if the dough is done, you don't want to cook it any longer. But if you take it off the grill, the heat will continue to come out of the dough and it'll melt the cheese on top, so you'll be fine. Okay, so that's the 2 minutes for that one. And then we'll just transfer this right to a cookie sheet. These are all ready to eat now. I suggest that people, when they're having grilled pizza, eat them fairly close to when they're making them, because the dough is so thin, it does have a tendency to get a little soggy if you leave it, but you can crisp them up in an oven. Put them in a 350 oven if you've cut them up, and you can make them taste perfectly fine.